The Indian Army is preparing to maintain its current strength of troops, tanks, and other weaponry in all key areas in eastern Ladakh in the harsh winter months as a resolution to the border with China in the mountainous region shows no signs of early resolution. They have said that the Indian Air Force will also remain on high alert in the forward air bases along the line of actual control, while the Navy will maintain its aggressive deployment in the Indian Ocean region to keep up pressure on China. Indian Army is making elaborate preparations for the long haul in eastern Ladakh, even as it awaits confirmation from the Chinese military for the fifth round of military talks that have done a day before. So, to get in detail with this particular most important information and various other most important considerable inputs, let us begin with today's defense updates of 3rd of August 2020. And before beginning, I would like to wish each and every defense aspirant a belated happy Eid, happy Raksha Bandhan, and a belated happy Friendship Day. So, SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. We are one-stop solution for you if you are preparing for various defense examination. I would like to always highly recommend you to download our Android app from Google Play Store, wherein which you can have all sorts of important defense-related study material, important lecture content, and a lot of strategic information in your hand. Beginning with the question of the day that I have posted on 1st of August 2020, that is on Saturday. And the question that I asked was, what are the various types of landing gears or undercarriages that are employed in aircrafts? So many of you have given the correct answer for this, and the answer for this would vary, but here I would like to give you a very brief and a very simple explanation about what are the different types of arrangements of the landing gears. Landing gears can be a tricycle landing gear, or it can be a conventional landing gear, or it can be a tandem outrigger wheels also. Understanding? So what is a tricycle landing gear? If you have any aircraft and the arrangement of the wheels of the aircraft are in such a way that there is a nose wheel and then there are two another wheels in the back side. That means there is a nose wheel and there are another tandem rear wheels for the aircraft. Then that kind of arrangement is known as a tricycle type of landing gear, wherein which if this particular nose wheel is not here and this nose, instead of nose wheel, if we have a tail wheel somewhere here, when that kind of aircraft is employed, then the aircraft would be in such a way that the aircraft has a tail wheel and then it has a forward wheel, and the aircraft would be looking in a forward in an upper direction. So that sort of landing gear is known as a conventional landing gear, and wherein which if you can see in a very larger transport aircraft, wherein which you will have a very mix or a group of lot of important landing gears that can withstand the whole of the weight of the aircraft and the cargo that it is carrying. And there will be another extra landing gears that might be deployed from their wings, and those kind of wheels are also known as the outrigger wheels. Okay, depending upon the terrain and the environment, these can be a skid type of landing gear, or these can be used as skis, and it depends on the type of the environment the aircraft is working, and these are employed in such a way. These are the three most important arrangement that we have to see. If you have any more inputs regarding this particular question, I will be very much happy to. You can reply in the discussion box in the comment section also. So beginning with the first and foremost important defense information is that Air Marshal V.R. Chaudhary has assumed the command of the Western Air Command. On 1st of August 2020, Air Marshal V.R. Chaudhary has taken up the command as the Air Officer Commanding in Chief of the Western Air Command of Indian Air Force. Who was the previous important Air Officer Commanding in Chief? Air Marshal B. Suresh PVSM AVSM BMADC was the previous Western Air Commander. In the place of him, on 1st of August 2020, that is on Saturday, Air Marshal V.R. Chaudhary AVSM VM have assumed the charge. And let us discuss about his most important career highlights. They include that he was commissioned into the fighter stream of Indian Air Force on 29th of December 1982 as a fighter pilot. He has a distinguished career in Indian Air Force as of around 38 years nearly. He has a flying experience of more than 3,800 hours, and including various important aircrafts that he have flown include MiG-21, MiG-23, MiG-29s and Su-30 MKI fighter aircrafts. He has flown all of them. While he was the Air Vice Marshal, he held the coveted appointments of the Assistant Chief of Air Staff Operations in the Air Defense. He was also the Assistant Chief of Air Staff of the Personnel Officers at the Air Headquarters. While he was an Air Marshal, he held the appointment of Deputy Chief of Air Staff at Air Headquarters. Also, to get in detail that before his present appointment, he was a Senior Air Staff Officer of the Eastern Air Command. The Air Marshal is an alumnus of the Defence Services Staff College in Wellington, and in recognition of his distinguished service, he was awarded Vayu Sena Medal in January 2004, and he was awarded the Ati Vishisht Seva Medal in January of 2015. That is it with this particular most important information. Going on with the next important input is that fifth round of core commando talks have been held between India and China. These were held at 9:30 p.m. yesterday, that means in the yesterday night, and this has lasted for more than 10 hours, and both the Indian side have discussed regarding the disengagement from Pangong Tso Lake area by the Chinese troops as said by the sources. The complete details regarding this I will provide you tomorrow in a very fresh and a very complete strategic defense inputs. Going on with the next important update is that Lieutenant General Alok Clare has visited areas of southwestern sector. Who is Lieutenant General Alok Clare? He is the commander of the Sapta Shakti Command of the Southwestern Command. He visited the southwestern sector and he reviewed the operational preparedness. As you can see here, he always commended all the ranks for their professionalism and he exhorted them to continue working with same zeal and enthusiasm. Going on with the next important update is that India, Sri Lanka have expressed their commitment to enhance the bilateral defense ties. This is a very new and a very important update that we have to remember. The new defense advisor to the High Commission of India or at Sri Lanka. Please remember the new defense advisor to the High Commission of India at Sri Lanka is Captain Vikas Sood. He belongs to the Indian Navy. He is the new defense advisor to the High Commissioner of India in the Sri Lanka. He has had interactions with Sri Lanka's Ministry of Defense, various people, and they include Sri Lanka's Defense Secretary, who is Major General retired Kamal Gunaratne. Please remember, Major General retired Kamal Gunaratne. On July of 28th, he held our Captain Sood has held talks with the Sri Lanka's Defense Secretary, and on July of 27th, that means one day back before that, he also held talks with the Acting Chief of Defense Staff and Commander of Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, and on July of 29, he held talks with Sri Lankan Navy Admiral, who is Vice Admiral Nishanta Ulugitenne. Okay, so all of these three are the most important people. And going on with much more details that during these interactions, he had a range of matters of mutual interest in bilateral defense cooperation. All of them were discussed. Strong commitment to further strengthen the defense relationship between two countries was reiterated by the participants on both the sides. Going on with the next important defense update is that China has moved its People's Liberation Army Battalion across India's Lipu Lake Pass. Okay, why this is a very, very important strategic update? Because we already are having a lot of border disputes with Nepal regarding this Lipu Lake Pass. All of these passes include Limpiadura, Lipu Lake and Kalapani areas. And both India and Nepal are already going through a lot of important border disputes. And now we can see that China is moving its PLA battalion across this particular pass, and this pass belongs to India territorially. Okay, so as said by a top military commander that there has been an accretion of PLA troops across LAC at Lipu Lake Pass and parts of North Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Lipu Lake Pass, which falls on the Manasarovar Yatra route, has been the headlines for the past few months after Nepal has objected an 80-kilometer road built by India to the Himalayan pass. Going on with the next important defense update is that China has brought in more boats and accommodation for additional troops at Pangong Lake. This is really not acceptable from the Chinese side, and this is really concerning our Indian Army and all of the Indian High Commissioners. In the latest satellite imagery that has been analyzed by a famous Indian news channel, that around 13 boats of the People's Liberation Army ground forces naval wing can be seen at Finger 5 and Finger 6. Okay, now where are Finger 5 and Finger 6? I will show you. At Finger 5, 3 boats can be seen, while at Finger 10 are shown at the Finger 6. Each boat can carry at least 10 soldiers. This means around 130 Chinese troops, usually belonging to their elite forces, are present extremely close to Finger 4 that was always under Indian control. So a naval base of PLA ground forces is also visible. They are deploying their forces in a very larger scale. You can see Finger 5, Finger 6 and at Finger 4 areas also. All of these are very strategic. We have an ITBP strategic base located here and an Indian camp here, and Chinese camp is located somewhere here at Finger 8 also. Presence of 40 prefabricated huts that can accommodate up to 12 soldiers each. That means 40 into 12, 48 soldiers, and all of these are around 480 troops can be there in the huts, and all of these are deployed in a very larger scale, and all of these are very special huts. These can withstand extreme cold, and Chinese have already started to prepare for a long haul before the winter sets in. Why did this particular strategic input came? This was taken up from the retired Lieutenant General Huda sir. Okay, Lieutenant General Huda sir has given the inputs regarding this, and he have said that if the Chinese have brought in these sort of huts and these sort of huts have the capability to withstand extreme cold, and that clearly mentions that they're going to stay for a longer time even in the time of winter, and that means they are going to stay in the next few months also, and we have to act in a very faster and a very strategic way as soon and as faster as possible. So at one point in the time, deployment includes that 480 troops in the huts plus the boat crew, and additional troops in about 15 tents are already there. Okay, that is it with this most important input. Going on with the next important defense update is that Indian Army is preparing to maintain its current strength in the eastern Ladakh during winter months. This is because now the recent news that we have discussed just a minute back, that China is bringing in more boats and accommodation for additional troops, and that is the reason why even our country has started doing these particular plans. And along with the Indian Army, Indian Air Force will also remain on high alert along all its air bases along LAC. Navy will also maintain its aggressive deployment in Indian Ocean region to keep up pressure on China. Government sources have said that maintaining the current level of troops and weaponry in high altitude region will require extensive preparations as the temperature drops beyond minus 20 degrees centigrade in the region in peak winter months. Okay, on one side, China is bringing in a lot of number of troops, around 480 troops, along with around 50 thermally insulated trains and a lot of important number of boats. Everything are being deployed on the China side. Whereas on our side, Indian Army is completely deploying around 50,000 troops, and this number is going to be maintained there and then itself. Indian Air Force is also remaining on high alert. All of the air bases are on high alert. Indian Navy is completely deploying aggressively in complete Indian Ocean region. All of these are to keep up the pressure on China, and all of these, on one side we are maintaining our side safer side, but on the other side maintaining the same status for a longer amount of time will be a very challenging aspect on our side, because the temperature there in winter months will drop beyond minus 20 degrees centigrade. So this is a very, very big challenge our country is facing as of now. Going on with the next important defense update is that United Nations will neither use nor officially endorse the new Nepal map. This is a very important update. Now, why is this one considered to be a very important one? KP Sharma Oli led Nepal government plans to send a new Nepal map which shows Indian territories. And what are those Indian territories? These Indian territories include the Lipu Lake, okay, Kalapani, and another one is the Limpiadhura. Okay, Lipu Lake, Kanapani, and Limpiadhura are all of these, and even other some of the most important areas. All of these are being endorsed by the Nepalese government, that all of these are their own territories, but India does not acclaim this. In all of these years, friendship between our country and the Nepal, they have not explained regarding this one, but suddenly because of KP Sharma Oli, this has been come up in the news highlights, and they are trying to send this particular new map that they have made to the United Nations, but United Nations will neither use nor they will officially endorse. Understanding? See, even India has its own border disputes with Pakistan regarding the Jammu and Kashmir. China has its own map regarding Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan has its own map regarding J&K, and India has its own one. All of three countries have provided their maps to the United Nations, but United Nations does not consider all of three, any one of these, as a completely correct one. This is the reason behind the United Nations prints its own maps, and every map comes with a disclaimer. Okay, what is that disclaimer? That they have said that the boundaries and names that are shown and the designations that have been used on this map do not imply to the official endorsement or acceptance by the United Nations. Every map that has been set up, that has been sent by the United Nations, are not the official endorsements or the acceptance by the United Nations until and unless that is a complete. That means if there is any nation that has no border disputes with any other country, then the United Nations will say that this is officially endorsed or accepted by the United Nations. But regarding the border disputes between India, Nepal, China, and the Pakistan, United Nations did not even officially endorse, or it did not even officially accept these maps until and unless these disputes are formally resolved by all the governments and acceptance has been set done by all the important bilateral countries and even the global nations too. Okay. Going on with the next important defense update is that Indian Army's Jawan has been killed in a ceasefire violation by Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri sector. He is a very young person. He's a very important, brave, and a very important person who was deployed there. He was Sepoy Rohin Kumar. and Pakistani army has violated the ceasefire agreement by opening the fire along the LOC in Rajouri sector. In this incident, Sepoy Rohin Kumar, who was a resident of Himachal Pradesh, who was a brave soldier, was critically injured and he was succumbed to his injuries. He died. Unfortunately, Pakistan has been firing and shelling forward areas along LOC 1 or 2 times a day in several sectors for almost past 1 month, and this particular aggressive and literally non-humanitarian thing has been done by the Pakistan since ages and since generations. A lot of soldiers have been shed their lives in the name of our own country. So I hope that may his soul rest in peace. Going on with the next important and the final important defense update is that Japan looks forward to developing new systems to head off missile threats in the enemy territory. Now, North Korea and China are trying to develop new weapons that are harder to intercept through traditional methods. Understanding through traditional methods, you cannot intercept some of the most important, sophisticated, advanced weapon technology that are being done by the North Korea and China. So, to keep themselves safe from these two important hostile neighbors, Japan is now looking forward to developing new systems to head off missile threats in enemy territory. This has been said by the proposed draft recommendation, which has been approved by the team in the ruling Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, and this has stressed the need for integrated air and missile defense capabilities to protect Japan at the time and as the current Aegis equipped ships that are unable to do so. Okay, now we will have a very quick review about going through some of the most important questions, and the first and foremost question is Air Marshal V.R. Chaudhary, AVSM VM, has taken over as Air Officer Commanding in Chief of which Air Command? He has taken over as the Air Officer Commanding in Chief of the Western Air Command. Going on with the next important question is Defense Advisor to the High Commission of India at Sri Lanka is Captain Vikas Sood. Understanding? Please mention in the comment section who is actually Captain Sandeep N. Marathe, who is Captain Manish Kumar Rai and Colonel Avnish Chambyal. Going on with the next important question is Sri Lanka's Defense Secretary is who? Sri Lanka's Defense Secretary is Major General Retired Kamal Gunaratne. The next important question is Sri Lanka's Acting Chief of Defense Staff and the Commander of the Sri Lankan Army is Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva. The next important question is who is the commander of the Sri Lankan Navy? The commander of the Sri Lankan Navy is Vice Admiral Nishanta Ulugutenne. Next important question is the final one is that the Lipulekh Pass connects what important areas? Lipulekh Pass connects the Bayans Valley of Uttarakhand with the China's Tibet Autonomous Region. Please remember, Lipulekh Pass connects the Bayans Valley of Uttarakhand with China's Tibet Autonomous Region. Also mention in the comment section what are those Himalayan passes that connect the Kulu Valley with the Lahaul and Spiti Valleys. What is that Himalayan pass that connects the Indian state of Sikkim with the China's Tibet Autonomous Region? And what is that Himalayan pass that connects the Kashmir Valley with the Dras and Suru Valleys? Now we will have the question of the day. And the question of the day for today is which Indian Army officer is known as India's Wonder Woman and why? I repeat the question. Which Indian Army officer is known as India's Wonder Woman and why? The answer for this and the explanation for it I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, subscribe to this channel, download our app from Google Play Store, and last but not the least, always stay safe, stay healthy, and Jai Hind.